Take one. I think you can definitely consider her as a help, particularly from our view nowadays. So if you look back, as we kind of have been discussing, if you look at how her role in the militancy kind of grew, you can see how that did have a massive effect on the campaign for suffrage, and particularly how we view the campaign for suffrage now. So we often think about the suffragettes over the suffragists, and her role in this was clearly key. So I think that's something that's important to consider.
So it adds to like the publicity and the kind of legacy, I suppose, of the suffrage campaign, to have that element of violence. Does anyone disagree?
I think that with hindsight we can agree that she did help the movement, because we can see how their actions led up to women getting the vote. But I think it's important to understand that there were issues with her actions. So the NUWSS were trying to work with politicians to get women the vote, whereas because the suffragettes were pursuing militant methods, and obviously this upset the politicians. They didn't really want to seem like they were giving in to almost maybe what they would consider like childish tantrums or something. I think that we can say that in a way they were kind of like contradicting the work of the NUWSS when they were trying to be peaceful with their militant methods.
And they actively distanced themselves from politicians. I mean, they actively campaigned against them. So whether or not they could actually get lasting political change through these kind of more violent militant methods is questionable. And there was a backlash in terms of the way the government began to portray suffragettes that perhaps was distinctly unhelpful to the campaign for women's suffrage, kind of through propaganda imagery, really cruel depictions of suffrage. And that perhaps that was more divisive, like we see in lots of campaign movements. When they split, they become less effective. Does anyone think that's the case?
You can kind of see that in the WSPU itself. So obviously Emmeline Pankhurst was the leader of this, but actually not everybody was agreeing with her methods. And so there were splits such as the Women's Freedom League, where people actually left the organisation to pursue other tactics of trying to gain women's suffrage. So while her tactics, you can see that they did kind of gain support and also sort of achieve results, they also caused splits within her kind of movement as well.